We've seen how we can break a document down into different little pieces that we can work with. They could either be pages or sections of text or paragraphs or slides. But sometimes what we want to do is we don't necessarily want to go and process all of it incrementally every single page every time. Sometimes we need a way to help the LLM or code interpreter find exactly that page that it needs. Now, most of the time we're going to have to go through and process the whole document in some form. But we need some way of helping it get to the information that it wants. Since we can't put everything into one prompt at once, even if we break it into files, we need a way of helping it find the information it needs to answer our question. So how can we do that? Well, if we think about what a human does, if you pick up a book and you want to look for a particular topic, you're going to go to a table of contents or an index, or you're going to try to use some tool that allows you to search for keywords within the document. And we have to be able to support these same types of things in Code Interpreter. Now, sometimes it can go and use Python and just do a keyword search to find the relevant information. So if you know exactly the terms that it needs to look for, it can go and find that exact spot in the document. But sometimes you don't know exactly the terms that are going to be used in the document. And so you need some way of building an index from a document. So here's an example of building an index from a document. So I've taken a document, which is the Vanderbilt travel policy, and I've broken it individual pages. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Code Interpreter to build an index so it can know where to find things in the travel policy. So here's what I say. I say, please analyze each page and provide me with a policy search index that maps travel policy topics to pages. And then down here, we see it's mapped different types of policies like reimbursement, air travel, car rental, international travel, lodging, meals, and mileage into the pages in the document where those topics occur. Now, why is this important? Is because I then go ask a question on a particular topic or related to a particular topic. Code Interpreter or GPT-4 will be able to figure out which pages it needs to load into the conversation and look at and process in order to answer the question. So it helps it immediately hone in and zoom in on the information it needs. So I'm going to show you how I use this now. After I've built the index, I can then say, using your index, read the policies related to staying in an Airbnb and tell me if I can get reimbursed for this if the cost is less than the average hotel in the same city. And notice what it does. It then says, the policy related to staying in non-conventional lodging opportunities such as Airbnb is mentioned in the document. Here are the key points. Non-conventional lodging opportunities such as those available through Airbnb, HomeAway, or similar providers, or allowable expenses. Now notice what it did. It's translating policies related to Airbnb and it's figuring out that means non-conventional lodging. And why is it able to do that? Because it can go and figure out which pages in the document it needs to go and use to answer questions. So if I then go and I give it something else, like let's assume I'm in a foreign country traveling in taxi and it breaks down on the way to an important meeting, can I get reimbursed? It knows I need to go and look up policies related to probably car rental or some other aspect, mileage, things like that. It's going to look on similar pages and then it allows it to go and pull out the relevant policy information. And you can then go and ask different topics. So the key is that when you begin building up an index or some way for it to look into the document, it helps it figure out what pages do I need to go and pull in. And so in this example here, where I say using your index, read the policies. Now normally I don't want to show you the Python, but I do in this case because when I say using your index, read the policies, it goes and looks at two specific pages, page 4 and page 7 right here. It's saying page 4 text and page 7 text. And if you look up here, lodging is on pages 4 and 7. So it knew when I was talking about Airbnb that that was a form of lodging. It went to the index. It immediately saw that lodging was on pages 4 and 7, and then it wrote Python code to read pages 4 and 7 in order to answer your question. So an index or a keyword mapping to pages or whatever it is, you want some way of it to figure out, if you break it into paragraphs, if you break it into slides, if you break it into sections, if you break it into pages, whatever it is, you need to build a master index. Now, Notice one important thing. It's going to take you, if you start a new document, it can take a lot of work to build an index. So to build this right here can take a lot of work. Once you've built it, don't start from scratch if you're going to do a lot of work with that document. Copy and paste this into another document, or ask it to save that index and that little chunk of text into a document for you, and then upload it or reuse it in the future. So if I ever go and have a conversation with this travel policy again, I don't need to start from scratch having to go through, break the document apart into individual pages. I could have just had it create all the pages like it did up here. I could have downloaded them all and put them into a zip file. Similarly, I could have created an index like this, put it into a text file, and put that in the zip file. And the next time I started, rather than giving it the original document and saying go page by page and break everything down, summarize it, then turn it into this index of policies, no, I just go and give it my zip file that has all of the pages as plain text already there, that already has my index. And I say go and look in index.txt and then figure out which pages you need to answer questions related to first class international air travel. And then it would immediately be able to directly go in and pull in the relevant pages, and I don't have to sit around waiting for it to go and process every single page before. So particularly when you start working with these larger chunks of work, you want to save the incremental pieces. So if you build an index, save the index. If you break the document apart into multiple pages, save those pages. Don't start from scratch if you don't need to. If it does a good job on some piece of work, tell it to save it as a file or copy and paste it into something so that when you start next time, you can start with those intermediate products, either the individual pages of text or the indexes or the keyword index or whatever catalog you've got. You want to start there to make it easier. Or maybe you just take the zip file and create folders where you say, lodging, and then you dump pages 4 and 7 in there. Or better yet, ask Code Interpreter, go and rearrange these pages that I've extracted into folders based on the policies that they cover within those pages, and then put it in a zip file, and the next time you upload it, just say, look for the pages relevant to lodging, and it'll be smart enough probably to go and see, oh, there's a folder with lodging here, I should read these pages.